Hey guys, what up? It's Shayri, and today I am doing the Taylor Swift book tag. Sorry, I'm getting a text message if you hear that. And I'm really excited. I love Taylor, and I love books, so this is like amazing. The first thing you have to do is you have to pick out a book for We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, and you do a book or a series that you were so in love with, but then you just completely wanted to break up with. And the one I chose is something many people have chose that I've seen who have done this tag. I chose Divergent by Veronica Roth. I absolutely love Divergent. It's such a good book. It's one of my favorite dystopian stories. Insurgent was great. I loved it too. But when it came to Allegiant, I just needed more or even less. I feel like, it was good to know what happened and blah, 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 and why everything was happening. But I feel like it could have kind of just ended with Insurgent. But overall, this was a great series, but Allegiant wasn't very good, and that's why I wanted to break up with it. And then the second book you have to choose is a book with a red cover, and this is not even a novel, but I chose Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them from the Harry Potter books, and it's mentioned in the books a few times. And it's by Newt Scamander, but obviously it's actually just by J.K. Rowling. But I just chose this one because it's the red cover I have, and I love these little kind of spin-offy stuff. Books that aren't really spin-off because they were actually mentioned, but I just think it's cool how they actually made these books. And I love these things. They're my precious. And I got it a couple years ago in a set, and the set also came with Quidditch Through the Ages. And these books were for comic relief. And then the third book you have to choose is for the song The Best Day, and you pick a book that makes you feel nostalgic. I can never pronounce that word. You have to pick a book that makes you feel nostalgic. And I chose another Harry Potter book, but I chose Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Simply because I love this book so much. I grew up watching these movies and reading these books, and this book just means a whole lot to me because it's just where everything began, and this just means a lot to me because I love these adventures. And Harry and Hermione and Ron are like my best friends that I don't know in real life. They're like some of my best book character friends ever. So I love this book so much. It just makes me happy thinking about it. The fourth book you have to choose is for Love Story, and you have to choose a book with a forbidden love. And a lot of people didn't like these books, but I love them. I don't have it, so I just have a picture of the cover, and this is not colored right. And that is Matched by Ali Condi, and I actually quite loved this trilogy. Reached wasn't as amazing as Matched and Crossed, but I love the whole story. I'm a Kasha and Kai person. One of my friends is Xander and Kasha, but I just love Kasha and Kai, and I think it's adorable, and I think it's just such a beautiful story, and I love the way, I think Crossed is what I'm thinking was. I think Crossed was probably my favorite, or the first one, but I really loved Crossed a lot, but it was kind of heart-wrenching, but I loved it. I just loved it, okay? And then the fifth book you have to choose is I Knew You Were Trouble, and you have to pick a bad character you couldn't help but love. And I chose Divergent again. I chose Caleb from Divergent. I wouldn't say Caleb is necessarily a terrible bad character, but in Trish's eyes he is seen as bad. But I love Caleb, especially when Ansel Elgort played him in the movie and he was like crying because his mom died or about to. That just kind of broke my heart. Everybody makes mistakes, Caleb was just raised in a world that was like that, and, he was raised to think that way. But I love Caleb. I think he's adorable, even in the books. And in the last one, he's just like, I'll do it. I want to prove to you, Trish. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I want to prove to you, Trish, that I love you. And if you don't know, Veronica Roth is a Christian, and in the Bible, one of the things says, the biggest way to show someone you love them is to sacrifice yourself. Now, I'm not saying go kill yourself because you want to tell people you love them. No. Sacrifice yourself for them when you have to. That's the biggest show of love. And spoiler alert again, when Triss does it instead of him, I think it just shows it's like her saying, I still love you and I forgive you. And that's probably what I really loved about Allegiant. The one thing I really truly loved. But I love Caleb Pryor and he's amazing. But he is seen as a bad character. So. And then the sixth book for a song you have to choose. The song is Innocent, and you pick a book that someone ruined the ending for you. This would be Allegiant, but I don't have Allegiant with me, so I chose another book. I chose Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. I was the first one to read all three of these books in my grade, and I'm really proud of that, and I read these in 4th grade. But my mom had read them before the whole movie thing had started. I just didn't really want to, and I was into like Ali Finkel's Rules for Girls at the time. So, but I don't think nobody ruined this for me because, like I said, I didn't talk to anyone, because I was the first one to read these. But my best friend, spoiler alert, once again, another spoiler alert. My best friend, but most of you have probably read these. So, my best friend and I were scrolling through looking at Hunger Games pictures, and it says something like Prim dies. And we were both just like, what? What? So we kind of ruined that for ourselves, or I guess the internet did. I was probably from Tumblr, so stupid Tumblr. Just kidding, Tumblr's amazing. But yeah, I do love this book though so much. It's my baby. I cried like a baby when I finished it. And I think that's basically truly because I think the Hunger Games were the first they were like the first young adult books I ever read that I really sucked into and had a big obsession with and still love. And I never wanted these books to end, and I love them so much. So, the seventh book you have to choose is for the song Everything Has Changed. Great song, by the way. And you have to pick a book that a character from the book goes through extensive character development. And this was kind of hard because I had to really think and make sure I didn't use books I had before, but I just had to for this one. And I chose Prim from the Hunger Games books by Suzanne Collins, obviously, like I just used Mockingjay. And I'm holding Catching Fire and The Hunger Games because I think throughout these two books you don't really hear a lot from her, but I think she goes through extensive character development as well in Mockingjay, just because of the fact that, when Katniss gets home, she realizes how much Prim has had to grow up, and I think she has gone through a lot of extensive character development, even through these 3 books, or just these 2 books, because she is more grown up, and she's had to watch her sister fight in these terrible games. And I think she's kind of grown up from that little innocent girl stage. Not to say that she's still not innocent. She definitely is innocent still. But she's grown up more. And I just think she went through quite a bit of character development. Even though you didn't hear about her a lot in these series. And then for number 9, you had to choose a song. The song that goes with it is Forever and Always, and you have to pick your favorite book couple. And I love so many book couples, Tifios, Harry Potter, so many book couples, but I decided to go with, once again, I don't have the book with me, I have a picture, The City of Bones, Mortal Instruments, and it's just Mortal Instruments series, which I haven't finished, by the way, so, but anyways, my favorite, that would be, Clary, and Jace. I love them. I think they're the cutest thing ever, and they're adorable, and Jace is okay. But I love Clary and Jace so much. I want to say even more, but I don't want to go too much into depth. And spoiler alerts, I love Clary and Jace, and if you haven't read this series, you totally should, but you need to read it, and you probably read it by now, so. And then, number 10 is Come Back, Be Here, which some of these are bonus little things that aren't in all of them, but Come Back, Be Here, if you don't know, is, let's come back, be here, is on the Red Deluxe Edition, Target exclusive thing, and I have that, but, and you have to pick a book that you would, least like to lend out for the fear of missing it, and I chose Tales of Beetle the Bard, which there are a bunch of books that I would choose for this category, but I chose this one because this is very, very dear and special to my heart, and I always feel like Hermione Granger when I read it. And I think basically it's just because, to me, it's a special little thing, because it is in the Deathly Hallows, and Hermione is given it, and it does have stories that are mentioned. You know, there is the three brothers, of course, the Rabbity Babbity and her cackling stuff. That's not mentioned in it, but the pod or whatever, that one. You know, there are just, these stories are actually really great too, and I love this book so much. It's just really, really special to me, and I got this from the same person who bought me Quidditch Through the Ages and Wild Beasts and Where to Find Them. I don't even remember the name. Okay. And Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. But I just would not, this is my child. This is like my baby right here, and I will protect it with my life. And if something were to hurt it, yeah, you're not getting any more books from me, and you're also not talking to me ever again, and we're not friends. So I love this thing. I totally skipped a question, guys. Whoops. Okay, for number 8, whoops. For number 8 is You Belong With Me, and it's your most anticipated book release, and I chose Prodigy by Marie Lu, which I don't have with me. But that's the cover, and that's what it looks like. Can you see that? Can you see that? And I was really, really proud of reading this series because, weird enough, this is like the first series that I read Legend when it was first, like, I don't want to say first popular, but it was first kind of like, it was already a New York Times bestselling, but obviously that doesn't really mean anything. But it was just, it was just kind of starting to grow and get popular, I think. And so I read this right after I read all the Hunger Games books, and for me, looking back, I have said before, I am so happy that I chose Legend to read because I feel like it really fulfilled to me. For me, the Hunger Games was the best thing in the entire world. The whole book hadn't really been opened to the type of books I have been now. I think really before the Hunger Games, I was still reading children's chapter books and children's novels. I wasn't reading young adult books and novels that I could have been because I'm an advanced reader. But Legend for me is such a good book, and if you haven't read it, you should read it. It's Legend by Marie Lu. Day and June and Eden are all characters that will forever be with me and into my heart. But I waited the year for Prodigy after I read Legend, which I was proud of, which might be weird, but it was the first release series, like I said, or that I read the book, waited the year for the second one, and waited the year for the last one, the third one. And I also waited a long time for Champion, especially. And I think Champion had a wonderful, terrible, cruel, beautiful cliffhanger ending. It is a cliffhanger. It was just, whew. You know, I mean, there are some books that end and they're not anticlimactic. This was definitely climactic. You know, I love it so much. I love what happens throughout the books. And for me, this trilogy was one that really lasted, and the writing never stopped, and never got worse as the books went on. And I can go on about the series forever. I just love it. It's so, so good. By the way, this is a tag, as I said earlier, and I was not tagged in this, and I'm not going to tag anyone because problems. And also, I wanted to say, since there wasn't any video thing, so there won't be bloopers, because I'm doing this on my video camera, and I'm too lazy to go and edit it. And I'm just seeing what video quality is better, my camera or my phone. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell me if you want me to do more booktuber videos or more Swiftie videos.